I haven't talked yet, so I'm not sure if you clap already. Okay, since the topic of my session is a practical approach to competitive financial analysis, I will be practical and I'll stay on the floor with you and not on the stage. So forgive me for doing that, but I rather enjoy running around and talking about practical things. Okay, when we look at the session, I want to share and discuss with you a couple of things. First of all, I want to introduce you to Festo and a hidden champion that has been turning 100 years this year. So this year we do a lot of celebrations, and hopefully we'll celebrate another 100 years in 100 years. Then the next topic will be what my team and myself are doing at Festo, which is market and competitive foresight. And actually, it shouldn't be only me being here, but it should be my team, which consists out of 11 to 12 people spread across Europe, meaning some of them sit in Esslingen, where I'm located at, and some of them sit in Lithuania. Then we will touch the topic financial analysis of competitors, which is the main topic. And here the subtitle is turning numbers into strategy. But I will not show you how to turn competitive numbers in Festo strategy. What I will highlight is more or less you can analyze your competitors, but you need to design and develop your own strategy. And you can maybe benchmark or challenge the strategy implementation with the figures that you analyze from your competitors, and then do a quick conclusion. All right, but first I want to introduce you to a world of motion, and since it's 100 years, we made a little video.
Festo sets the world in motion by enabling the production of nearly everything we use, need, drive, or consume in our everyday life. From parts, pills, and parcels, to cars, drills, and stem cells. From software to hardware. From innovation to implementation. From maintenance to confidence. From learning from nature to working with nature. From pneumatics to electrics and synergies created in the mix, easily moving what matters. With the best holistic motion portfolio from one hand in a simply perfect choreography. We elevate industry standards to new highs and drive emissions to new lows. We set the course with insightful advice and by answering complex questions to create the best possible applications. With automation and education. This is our promise to our customers. This is what moves us. Automation for a world in motion. Festo.
All right. The most important number is not that Festo is 100 years old, but the most important number that I'll show you on the next slide is actually 300,000, because that's the number of customers, roughly, that we work together with. And by working together with them, we will only be able to celebrate the 100 years. All other numbers on the slide are more or less derived from this 300,000, because 30,000 catalog products we need to serve and to create the future with those 300,000 customers. 7% of R&D spending, we need to be innovative for our customers. In 60 sales companies, we need, because we want to be close to every and each customer that we work together with. And that has been always the model of Festo, being close to the customer and consult the customer so they can be successful in the future. You quickly saw probably some of the products, especially when Festo was on one of the products, but this again shows you a little bit the portfolio that Festo has. Festo started out with pneumatics, then together with our customers, we developed our portfolio into the electrical drive technology area, and also advanced into control technology. And nowadays we provide you what we call automation solution around the automation pyramid. And automation pyramid means we automate machines and processes. We don't build machines. Machine builders are our customers. I think that's important. And of course, not only hardware we sell, but also software. And nowadays, artificial intelligence plays an important role also integrated in our products to, of course, be able to look at anomalies when it comes to, for example, air consumption as one part. So it's not only hardware that we're selling, software, services, and AI to some extent. Along with products comes, of course, expertise. And as you saw, you will find our products in the production lines of many industry sectors. And they start from, let's say, metal or steel production, going to Cimicon, or also in the food industry. And with this, you can imagine that all the industries have different requirements and need different expertise from our sales colleagues. And therefore, it's so important that we have this expertise in the company to be able to work together with those 300,000 customers from the different industries. Now, jumping closer to marketing competitive foresight or competitive intelligence, I want to give you a brief overview of what we're doing in this little team of mine. And you can see it reaches more or less from looking at economic developments to looking at markets. And a market for us is not a geographic market or an industry. Oh, by the way, you're getting the slides, so I think you don't need to make too many photos. So market can be geographic, can be an industry, but can also be a technology. So it's a little bit three perspectives on a market. Of course, we also look at competitors, and that we'll dwell a little bit more closely into, but we also do what we call customer experience or customer satisfaction surveys, and deriving, of course, what measures needs to be done to improve satisfaction and loyalty. So that's the scope that we're working in. Then who is doing it? It's not only us in the corporate function or in HQ, but it's also, of course, colleagues in the different business units or colleagues that sit in the countries. So it's not only the 11 people or 12 people in my team, but we have colleagues that are located in China, in the US, sometimes also in smaller countries like Slovakia, that we work very closely together. Or colleagues in the business unit, which could be electric automation, where they have, of course, a specific and different type of role. We are in corporate, we're responsible for the world, so to speak, at Festo, and we also define the processes, the methods, and the definitions that we jointly need as a Festo group. Otherwise, if everybody has these different definitions for a number, then it's hard to actually have really a strategy developed on. And of course, we're also responsible for certain projects that we drive together with this global network. Plus, we have a governance function for example, market shares and customer satisfaction index. All right. Now, competitive intelligence, diving into this specific area. And here, of course, the subtitle, Turning Numbers into Strategy. So what we are doing here with regards to analyzing competitors and also then what we derive from our findings. First of all, I guess everybody knows this process. Sometimes it has 5 steps, sometimes 6, maybe more. I just used the one with the 6 steps. And of course, we use this for our work. Meaning, most important planning and direction is what is the scope of the competitive intelligence in general, or if it is a certain project that we're working on. So that's very important. Then implementation is also important. We shouldn't do just intelligence work for the sake of it. It needs to have some direction or / some implementation in the end. Then the other only thing I want to highlight at the moment for us, at least at Festo, when we talk about automating our work, we see automation taking place maybe in the steps 3, 4, and 5. We would like to have probably more automation in other steps, but here we haven't found the right solution, and we're open, of course, for discussion and for suggestions. Okay, but in general, that's the cycle we're using within our work and for the individual projects or work streams that we're doing. Then, if we talk about financial or about competitor intelligence, it's of course not only looking at financials of competitors. We are doing many more things. And here are only a couple of mentioned. There are much more things we're doing in the area of competitive intelligence. But the thing that we're looking at is financial analysis today, but we are doing also business model analysis, supply chain analysis, portfolio analysis of our competitors, product benchmarks, product launch monitoring. So a huge array of topics when it comes to competitive intelligence that we're driving forward. Okay, should move. Good. But since the topic is financial analysis, of course the question is, what should we look at when we talk about financial analysis? And here I used more or less something from Mr. Potter. I guess everybody knows him, where his main work has been done on the competitive strategy. And the elements that he was talking about, if you want to have a successful competitive strategy, you need to have a value proposition, you need to have a target market, you need to have a competitive advantage, and then you need to do the right resource allocation. By looking at those elements of a competitive strategy, I highlighted the words that you can use for deriving what the scope of financial analysis of a competitor could consist out of. So, of course, you can look at investments that he's doing, and there it's the number of capex that he's spending every year or over a certain time period. You can look at, of course, costs, meaning cost of goods sold as one part. You can look at which are his customer segments, meaning to which industries he's selling. Or, of course, you can also look at R&D spending or price analysis, although this is a bit a difficult topic in Germany, since you're not allowed to store any net prices in a database. So it's mainly list price analysis that you can do. Okay, so that's more or less the background. And now, those are then the numbers or the figures that you can take for the analysis. Some of them I already mentioned. Some others are here. Of course, a number is a number. For us, I think it's important that the number has a story to tell. So CapEx spending, you can see that your competitor is spending more and more money on buildings. But does it help you? No. You need to know in which country does he build new factories or new sales offices, to understand in which direction he's heading. So is he investing more in Asia, or is he investing more in Europe? This makes, of course, a difference also for your strategy, or at least the benchmark of your strategy. Or the other thing, revenue, okay. Revenue increase is good for him, maybe not so good for us, but more important, is he growing faster than the market? So again, the relation that you set the figure to is more important than just the pure figure to look at. And those are just two examples. Now, what I share with you is what we are doing. We are collecting more or less financial data, and we are having two dashboards. I will show you both of them. Of course, only a snapshot of both of them. One, where we use the official data without any estimations by ourselves, and the other one has estimations, or let's say deep dives into the different numbers included. So this one is more or less using purely official data that we can get from our competitors. And what you see here, we have in this dashboard about 6 or 7 predefined perspectives. Of course, you can filter it to the different competitor or a number of competitors. You can filter it to certain time periods and so on. And what we're showing here is just 2 dimensions, growth of revenue and the profitability margin on the other side. And with this one, you can get a nice overview on where your different competitors are located. And the colors also indicate from which business unit or technology field they are coming from. So we know fairly fast that, for example, the light blue, or no, let's take the gray companies, which are all in the process automation area, they actually have a second quarter 2025 with either no growth or actually growth. Now, depending on what the industry is doing, this can be good or not good. At the moment, I would say it's good. No growth or some growth is actually quite good. So with just this simple perspective, there is a lot to read into. And of course, what you can do is, if you want to have a strategic derivation for yourself, you can decide, okay, where do I want to position myself in this matrix? Do I want to be on the average, which are the dotted lines? Or do I want to be above average in both dimensions? This is now more or less what strategy building or development needs to do. Then the same dashboard offers you also an individual look on competitors. At the moment, same numbers plus employees, but of course you can expand this to all the numbers that I showed you before, and I think that's what we're going to do in the future. And here, this gives you a clear view on how the competitor is doing. Let's see if the laser, in this quarter, in the current quarter, or the year to date, or what we call it the rolling 2 years. So you get an impression how well he is doing today, this year, or in the past. Of course, you can also look at longer timelines, which is also there. Then you can check, okay, how or where does he generate most of his turnover with regards to regions. And of course, this gives you the possibility to challenge your strategy, meaning he makes more turnover than you in Asia, so what's wrong, as an example. So that is the dashboard that we have by purely using numbers that we can get from the internet or from any financial report. And then this dashboard is or will be in the end closely connected to the first one, where we use our own estimations about the market development. So revenue against market will tell us our position, our market share, and of course the market share of our competitors. And of course you can not only look at that from a world perspective, we can break it down to every country that we are working in, so 60 countries we can break it down. We can break it down to business units, so 3 business units, plus 60 countries, 180 filter possibilities, plus industry segments, another 30 industry sectors, so 180 times 30. You see how that's multiplying. But that dashboard gives us this opportunity to actually do this and of course provide it to the Festo organization. But as said, this is not purely data that we're getting from the competitors, so to speak, but it's a lot of own estimations. It's enriched by data from associations that we're a part of, and so on. And of course, own things that we know over time. Final slide, so to speak, before conclusions is what I would wish is that we could automate more here. Probably even automate more here through AI. But what I'm also worried about is that with AI and more IT, we need to do a lot of verification here and here, just to make sure that we're not hallucinating together with AI, as an example. But we believe, of course, and we are also experimenting, if you want, or testing AI tools that will help us to automate along this way. And with this, the main conclusion is the role or the degree of automation within competitive intelligence or marketing competitive intelligence, I think will further increase. But I think what we also need to be aware of, we still need the people. And I think we still need them at least for the next 10 years, I would imagine. Or 15 years, to be more optimistic. But what we need to do is, and I read an article at Harvard this morning while coming here, is that we need to, of course, give them the opportunity to learn about the tools, learn about AI, and probably learn about programming and big data and everything. And I think that's a big challenge for every organization, because what I also believe is, to some extent, AI is a big black box, at least for me at the moment. And I'm not sure if I want to present a number that a black box has generated without knowing the story behind the number. All right, thanks a lot.